Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, just about 10:20 in Honolulu, 4:20 in New York. It is Tuesday, July 12th, 2016, and we are looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average at a new all-time record high, trading up today 120 points, 0.66% in terms of gain, 18,347.67. Quite a gain on the day. S&P, new record high. We did achieve it yesterday, but take a look at the E-mini, 2146, up 15.75, low 2128, and the high today, 2149, just 3 points off the high. What a day for equities traders. Let's take a look at our first chart. Traders, absolutely no doubt, a phenomenal day for equities. Actually, equities across the board globally. I think every single market was up except the FTSE, except for Britain itself, and there's obvious reasons for that. We have Japan just with a runaway upside stock market. Japanese yen just rapidly moving. We'll take a look at that time permitting. Oil, a tremendous move today. But first, let's look at this Standard & Poor's. This, of course, is the E-mini. Here's our current or our former record tops. They're sitting somewhere around, call it 1435, somewhere in that area. I think 1437 was the record top in the large S&P contract. Again, a weekly chart. Look at the kind of move that we saw above this. Right now, I believe we will see some more upside action. I'm looking at about 2180 as a potential top to 2200. But I believe that there will be a correction now that we've made these new highs. I think we'll continue along this route for a little bit of time, and then of course we'll go into some sort of correction, because consider this: since February, this market has moved from 18,000 to above, or 1800, excuse me, to above 2100, closing today at 2145. And so traders, this is the SPX, or what we call cash market, S&P 500. This market, of course, this is the actual S&P close at 2152. You can see the former tops. This is 2120 right here. Let me draw a line across that. That is our historical top. We have not seen anywhere near that since last year. And then, of course, this year we made a couple of attempts, but came just shy of that particular point, but an absolute breakout to the upside in U.S. equities. So traders, interestingly enough, a tremendous upside move in crude, up almost 4%, 3.78, $1.69 a barrel, 46.44. That is our current print. What I'm really finding interesting is we've been talking a lot about this correlation or negative correlation lately between the way the equities markets have been running, which has been up, and crude oil, which has been down. We have seen the market certainly trade in a positive correlation with both of them trading up. We've seen that activity really throughout the entire year, and then a dip, then an upside, small dip, and so forth. But there's been a real positive correlation as traders looked at crude oil as a cue to where U.S. equities were going to go. Well, you can see today we've broken the habit of this negative correlation, which has been prevalent within the market, and we have this tremendous upside surge. However, I am still looking at a top between 52 and 50. That's what I looked for before, and I think we could see a trade within a range. But as I said, I don't think it's going to break above, call it $52 per barrel. Traders, talk about a runaway market. Japanese yen up almost 2 full percent, 195 points higher at 104.70. This is a daily chart that we're looking at of the yen. And when you look at that, look at these last couple of trading days that we have seen. Tremendous upside move in the yen. British pound, we absolutely are getting some upside in that also. This is that tremendous drop we experienced right after the Brexit vote. Little dip up, then a push to new lows at 128. And now we've got this retracement or this spike back up. Tremendous upside move. That also up about 2% on the day. And traders, when you compare that to the dollar index, look at the range we had today. This is this red candle, but there's tremendous low. How we saw a great way of recouping. In essence, the dollar's closing unchanged, 96.50, off 0.066%. Very, very small move to the downside. And traders, I leave you with this thought. We're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Of course, Standard & Poor's yesterday, new all-time record high. Dow followed suit today, as we said, up about 120 points. And it's clear to see we're looking at a daily chart. Here's a series of tops that the Dow hit. This would be back when? Middle of May. We hit it once. We came close to it in February. This, of course, all of last year. We've had considerable corrections in the market, but lo and behold, we absolutely, on a closing basis, are at a new historical high, a new record high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you, as always, good trading. We'll talk to you tomorrow for another Trending Markets. Bye-bye.